Okay, so Ben and John, a 3-0 win here at BEDFONT Sports, first away league win of the season. Really professional performance.
I think. Listen, the reason I've got John out here actually is because that's literally his words that he just said, and I think it kind of sums up the performance. So it's probably the right word, professional. I thought, just had a feeling that the moment we come in, I just said it to the boys in there. I've taken no credit for I haven't mentioned the management team in regards to that win, just because when we turned up it felt like we had 15-16 players that were ready to take responsibility tonight, and I think you saw that just by, again, something that John said at half time, the communication throughout the pitch. We talk about how many times and moments that we can manage and dictate. It's quite little, but as long as you've got players on there taking responsibility and having that desire to win a football match, we have that in abundance tonight. And one of the biggest things for me in terms of being proud is the clean sheet. I think that's so important for us. I think you could see how animated I was towards the end, just to try and make sure that standard was kept. We'd have taken a 1-0, but to get ourselves free, I think is the kind of cherry on the top. But the clean sheet on a Tuesday night, away a team that's in and around where we find ourselves, and difficult conditions as well. So yeah, that's the most important thing for me. But like you say, professional performance is the right word.
So John, I spoke to Ben last week at training, and he talks about you as kind of like a bit of a bridge between the players and himself, and that you'll kind of do a lot of one-on-one work with the players. Have you seen a kind of difference in mentality today?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think it sort of ties in with what Ben just said. I think you could just hear today there was a lot more organising, like not from us, from the players. They were sort of conducting themselves how sort of what we've expected, before, which maybe in other games might not have quite been there. But yeah, I think it was just little conversations that no one really hears, or I think actually do go quite far. And I think we've got a really good group of players that I think have obviously listened to the last 2-3 weeks, or a few games, should I say, and I think they've really taken on board the little snippets from all of us really, and from each other. Not it's not just all from us, but yeah, I think they've done really well, and I think it kind of showed tonight just how just sensible we were just in everything that we were doing. We knew when to speed it up, when to slow it down a little bit, and I think it was kind of that was the tip of the iceberg for us today.
So what for you, Ben, was the difference between being 3-0 up today and 3-0 up against Littlehampton? Because the nerves that we saw against Littlehampton just weren't there tonight.
I think it's like the confidence that we gave at the start of the game. I said, I gave them loads of confidence, loads of positivity. I said at times I did feel they were slightly hard done by on Saturday. And after the game, it wasn't a big inquest again. It doesn't have to be dissected in so much detail at times. It's time to take responsibility of what we've served up and put that right. Now, tonight I just felt the difference was managing certain moments of the game. They got in a couple of times in the first half, and we spoke about that at half time. We always know that Josh is going to pull out 2 or 3 saves when teams have chances, which they're naturally going to do, and that's why the strength of having a top class keeper is such an important thing. But I just think it was desire and a bit of desire, togetherness and responsibility. I think that's all it was. There was moments where, like John said, we knew to turn it, we knew to slow the game down. We were nicking things, we were having good fouls in areas, and that was it. And listen, we scored at good times as well. 1-0 is always nervy, 2-0 is always nervy, because the next goal is kind of crucial. But listen, it's a side that's showed, I would say, especially in the last 3 games. We speak about the comeback against Redbridge. We've come from behind and won the game. I thought Saturday in moments we were good. I think that the most important thing, and the thing that I'm proud of tonight, is the defensive display. I really, really am. Forget the 3 goals. I think a clean sheet will do this changing room, massive things. And we got a tough game on Saturday against a team that's absolutely flying. and that can only put us in good stead for that.
Absolutely. Just finally, you pointed him out to the fans at the end of the game. Shaban has had a heck of a day. It's his birthday. Became a father at 1:30 this afternoon. Hot foot from the hospital to here. What does that kind of commitment kind of show you guys as a management team?
Mate, listen, I think that kind of the reason I did that at the end of the game is I think it kind of epitomised the whole performance. If you kind of think about it, you know, probably going a little bit deep, but when you're looking for hunger, desire, responsibility, you know, people on your side, that just sums it up, mate. You know, he's had his first child this morning at, you know, 20 years of age. It's a big, you know, moment in his life. You know, his dad rang me and said he's playing. Like, you ain't got to worry about that. You ain't got to worry about that. So that's just to kind of epitomises where we're at. I think, you know, where, you know, Javon's commitment and desire to the cause is huge, and you need people around like that. So congratulations to him and his family. You know, I know his dad was here as well as a new granddad. So really, you know, proud of what Javon's given to the club tonight, because that's a big thing. And it's his birthday as well, so happy birthday, Jav.
We'll get one of these done in a full light one day.
Yeah, mate, honestly, every week, isn't it?
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Thank you.